Well, hello, Elizabeth. This is Cece with Going Solo. You are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And today we are talking with Elizabeth Lewis, and we're going to be sharing the Author's Corner Meet the Author because Elizabeth has a great new book out, and it's called First Mate, Next Mate. And she also has a wonderful coaching site, which is called Love and Laughter Coaching. And this is Elizabeth Lewis. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Thank you. It's actually called First Date, Next Mate is the actual title of the book.
Okay,
So,
I'm sorry about that. So it's First Date, Next Mate. All right, that's a wonderful title. So how did you get into doing what you're doing now?
I'm a retired teacher, and after teaching, I decided to go into life coaching. So I was trained with CTI, Coaches Training Institute. And while you're in training, they want you to pick kind of a niche, what you're passionate about or know a lot about. And I organized the largest singles group in Louisville. And for years, I have worked with singles just, kind of here and there and everywhere. So I decided to become a dating consultant. So all I did, I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not a hitch. I just use coaching to help people figure out who they want to be in the singles world, honoring their values and who they are. Through all of the learning, I decided to write a book. I've learned about, the subtitle of the book is called Perspectives in Dating the Next Time Around. So my audience is really for those who are divorced, widowed, maybe a little bit older and have not married yet. And there's just so many different ways to think about dating. It's a very forward-moving, positive book. There's no horror stories. It's all really good stuff. So I've enjoyed sharing that with people.
Oh, that's great. It is so true because after you make that transition of divorce and then you go into dating or relationship loss of some sort and you start going into dating, it's really getting your feet wet and you're not quite sure about even being a single yet. And then you're going into starting to date. And so wouldn't you say that you have to kind of back it up a little bit and be okay with being single for a while?
Absolutely. You need time to heal. And that's the beginning of my book. The beginning of my book talks about, how do you know you're ready? I think I'm ready. How do I know I'm ready? And so there's kind of a little checklist. And you need to figure out who you are as a single person again, as a single person and not as part of a couple. And that goes for whether you're a widow or a divorced person. I'm a widow of 11 years and I've been in the dating world for 8. So I was just crazy amazed at how different it is the next time around. And that's another reason I wrote the book, for people who are getting back out there and they're kind of scared about it, or maybe they've been out there a while and they're kind of stuck and in this like negative cesspool of, where's all the good men, scarcity mindset. So this book kind of helps them think a little bit differently.
That's great. So would you give any tips on, as you're starting to transition into dating, would you give any tips on to be able to move forward into the dating arena there?
You mean before dating?
Yeah, because I really do feel that so often we step into dating and we're not quite ready for it yet. So we need to be a little bit whole. And I like your concept because you talk a lot about the law of attraction. And of course, with the law of attraction, it's all about kind of your vibrations. And if your vibrations are not at, you kind of date what you attract. And so if you're not really ready for dating, then you're attracting all of these ones that really aren't the best for you. And then you're saying, oh gosh, I can't find a decent guy. Well, the reason you can't is because your vibration is at that level. And so you need to continue to work on yourself. So my way of thinking is let's take it from the beginning and let's talk a little bit about how to heal and how to start moving forward. So how do you know when you're ready? Can you give any kind of tips like that?
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm going to cheat a little bit by looking at my book a little bit. So, in the beginning, you want to get healthy in every avenue of your life. Go to church, work on your spiritual self, go to the gym, work on your physical self, surround yourself with positive people, maybe volunteer, serve others, travel some, maybe do some things that you never got to do when you were married for whatever reason. So a quick list would be after you kind of discover a little bit who you are, your guilty feelings will be gone. So when I say guilty, I guess I'm probably thinking more of those widowers who like, oh gosh, it's too soon. Well, if you feel like it's too soon, it probably is too soon. You want to get your finances in order. You want to get the other parts of your life in order. That doesn't mean you're waiting for your life to be perfect before you start dating. It just means get your ducks in a row, make sure your kids are okay, make sure your finances are okay, and that kind of thing. Another big thing is you'll know when you're ready when you have no more negative feelings about your ex. So in other words, the name of his name won't make you angry, resentful, bitter, right? You're ready to say, you know what? It was a great marriage for the time that we were together, but now I'm going to move on and I'm going to have this healthy mindset. So if you still got a lot of bitterness and you're dating for revenge or to solve my miserable life, you're probably not going to be really, really happy. So those are a couple things. And then
that's great.
One thing is a lot of people have fear, like I haven't dated in 20 years and I'm not, thin enough, pretty enough, smart enough, cute enough. And so they have all these kind of mindsets that are really just not healthy. So yeah, I would say working on those. And then you'll be excited to date. When you're excited again, excited about the meet or the first kiss, instead of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You're actually excited, so that's another good sign that, okay, maybe I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's great advice, because I do think that once we start working on ourselves, we start understanding a little bit more about what it is that we want and, and what we don't want. I think it's a good thing. So then you step out into, the vibration and moving forward into what your new life is going to be. So being okay with single, I think, is a great place to be.
Right.
It's not saying that you're going to want to be there forever. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have relationships, but being okay with being single, having girlfriends and having a plan in your life that you want to do. And like you said, your ducks in the row. I think that's really a great advice.
And another thing is when people do first start dating, they need to check their expectations, meaning, dating, I say in my book, dating is 90% timing and 99% of them aren't the one. Only one makes it in the end. So if you keep going out every night thinking, oh, this is the one, and then he's not, this is the one, and then he's not, you're going to have a lot of disappointment. So go out, learn, know that dating is about learning. And the more you date, the more you learn. So everyone's not going to be the one. In fact, most of them are not going to be the one. So you need to still kind of keep that positive mindset that, I'm learning and I'm enjoying life.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Great advice. The thing is, too, is like so often the learning is learning of yourself, not necessarily of the other party. Because so often I've heard of a lot of ladies will go out and they say, well, he's okay, but, I can change him or I can make him dress differently or I can do this or do that. Well, here's the deal. You don't want to do that. You really want someone that you're going to be able to blend with and feel very good with. And so, I think when you're at that expectation that you can always change someone, that's where, you lead to failure.
Especially at our age. The next time around, are you kidding me? Somebody's 50 years old. There's no changing unless you yourself want to change. No one's going to do it for you.
Right. But I also think because we're a little bit older, sometimes when we date, it's almost like a blessing because our other partners, the guys, they've gone through things. And so when they find someone that's really great, they want to grab a hold of that. They want to capture that. And they say, oh, wow, I've really met someone that's really good. And, okay, fine, maybe I do need to make some compromises in my life, but they're willing to do that. And so, I think this being in our senior years, is really kind of a good thing. It's fun. It can be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to take a real quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the dating and the aspect of it and your coaching and bringing all of that forward. So today we have with us Elizabeth Lewis, and she is a dating expert, basically a coach, and she does this for a living. She's really great at it. Her book is First Date Next Mate, and she has a site called Love and Laughter Life Coaching. And so we'll be right back. This is Cece with Going Solo. You are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We'll be right back. Okay, so we've taken a quick break. I hope you guys grabbed a glass of wine or water or coffee or whatever you're drinking, and I hope you're settled back down because we're going to have a great second half of the show. We are talking to Elizabeth Lewis, and she is an author of First Date, Next Mate, and her website is Love and Laughter Life Coaching. And welcome back to the show, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Well, it's great. You know, the first part of the show, we talked a little bit, you know, as you're making that transition, do you know it's the right time to date? Those kind of things, working on yourself, being able to feel, you know, kind of a higher vibration, that you feel self-confident as you go out and you move into dating. Now we're out into the dating realm of it. And what would you tell singles that are out there, you know, out into the dating? Would you suggest online dating, or how would you connect with individuals out there?
Oh, online dating is a wonderful way to meet people. You just have to know it's a consignment shop. So when you walk into the consignment shop and say, wow, look at all these clothes, surely I'll find something I like. And then you go to the rack and you go, oh my gosh, no way, never in a million years. You know, and so it's a little disappointing. But then you find an article of clothing and you go, wow, I think I like that. And you put it over your arm. Well, that's the wink. That's the, I like you. Do you like me? And then, you know, you keep looking, right? Because you don't know if that's going to be a good fit. So you kind of look through again and you're like, oh my gosh, no way. You know, the fish picture, the 5 motorcycle pictures, whatever. Anyway, so when you get 3 or 4 of those, you're going to go in the dressing room and you're going to actually try them on. That's what I call the meet and greet. I'm going to go and see if there's a connection. Sometimes you know right away, nope, not for me, right? So you put that piece of clothing, if you will, as an analogy, back on the shelf because that is good for somebody. It's just not good for me. And, you know, so it's that whole process of trying to find that right fit. It is 90% timing and 99% of them aren't the one, only one makes it. So you do have to kind of stay positive. But with online dating, a lot of people will say, oh, there's just a bunch of liars and cheaters. And so here's what I say to that. The online dating site does not make people lie. That's a human behavior problem. So it's the online dating site is just an introduction service. It's like going to a party and there's 10 people there and you're like, hey, Cece, this is John. This is Elizabeth. This is, you know, it's just an introduction service. So that's a big thing is the dating site does not make people lie. That's a human behavior issue. Yeah. And then the other thing would be just to keep a positive attitude. Just because you have a bad date and a bad date and a bad meet and a bad whatever does not mean that you're not worthy or you're not enough. And what we do as singles is we start telling ourselves the story. And this story is I'm not enough of whatever. And then we go around trying to validate that story. See, I told you I only attract narcissistic men. And the story is not even true. But we've made it up in our head and we believe it to be true. So you got to kind of keep your brain.
That's really good advice because I actually personally like the online dating. A lot of people don't, but I think it's a great venue. And I've been told that a majority of people that are over 50 are online doing dating online.
And there's a lot of great sites. I've got a ton of, you know, in my book or whatever. You find the one that works right for you. So what I do as a dating consultant is I just work people, like if they want to try online dating, we try to pick the right site or sites. I suggest you be on 2 or 3 at the same time because it just doubles and triples your chances of people that you get to meet. It's like going to 3 parties in a night. So you I lost my train of thought. We're talking about online dating.
Going to 3, you suggest 3 sites at one time.
Yeah. Okay, so what I do with clients is I help them figure out what site is right for them, and then I teach them the tricks of the trade. Here's what a fake profile looks like. Here's, here's how to say no kindly. You know, don't ghost them. Say no kindly. And a lot of this is in my book, but I kind of navigate them, and then once they get it, then they're off and running. You know, they don't need me anymore. So but a lot of them come back when they are dating someone. It's not like just because you're dating someone, you're done. there's a whole bunch of stuff to work through when
Yes.
you're actually dating someone. How long to wait for sex? You know, when do you introduce the kids? I mean, there's just so many other things that that are really important to learn about.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about being a coach and how important it is, because I myself am single and I've been divorced for about 8 years now, going on 9 years, something like that. And I have found, difficulty in dating, not necessarily, I can meet someone right away. No problem with that type of thing. It's that transition from dating to being more into a long-term relationship that I seem to have a trouble with. And the reason I bring that up is because I think and I feel that a lot of people are the same as me, is that they feel like, I don't want to get into that same parameters that I was in when I was married. And so I don't really want to go there again. So what I'm thinking is, and the reason why I think having a coach is so wonderful, is that can't we look at dating and relationships in a different way when we're older? Because before, when we were younger, we dated and we wanted to start a family. We wanted to wanted to move on with our life. Everything is so different. But now when we're older, we can just date differently, can't we?
Right. Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot of perspectives in my book, and I won't go through every one of them, but
no, absolutely.
I want everyone to buy my book. So it's really, it's really just I don't know. They're perspectives that maybe you just never thought about before. So I'm also single as well. Like I said, I'm a widow, but I'm not currently exclusively dating anybody. But the perspective that I like the best, that works best for me, and I think the reason I say this is, so I'm 50, I just turned 52. So I think those of us that are like 45 and up want to decide really quickly, like, oh, I can't date you because you live 2 hours away. Nope. And then let's just don't even meet. Or I'm not going to move and you're not going to move. So why even meet, right? So we justify this, we make this quick decision. And what I learned from Bobby Palmer, the Dating Over 40 coach, she was on my radio show last fall, is her perspective is discover, don't decide. Just discover. Like, I'm meeting a guy next week. He lives 2 hours away. He doesn't want to move. I don't want to move, but he just certainly seems like he's everything I would want in somebody. So I'm going to I told him, I said, we don't have to make a decision. We don't even have to go out a second time.
Right.
Let's just see how we feel when we're together. And then if we like each other enough, we'll just figure out the next step. But don't decide. Now, obviously, if you go on a date and there's nothing, you go on a date and there's nothing, you want to date. By the third time, you're like, I can't manufacture these feelings I want to, you move on. But I think it's really important to not decide so quickly. So that's one thing.
I think that's good advice. And I think it's so great to have a coach to be able to talk some of these issues out, because sometimes we go through situations and then we start manifesting a lot more than what maybe is there. And so I think having someone like yourself to be able to use this as a sounding board is a great opportunity to be able to talk about some of the issues and then really sort them out in your mind, whether they are really issues to you or is it fear stepping in. Are we taking those issues and making it, a lot bigger than what it is? So I think it's a great perspective. I love the book. I think it's a great tool for anyone that's out there dating, guys or gals. I think it's a wonderful tool in which to have to be able to read and talk a little bit more about it. So again, her book is First Date, Next Mate. And we can find that. Where can we get that? On Amazon?
It's on Amazon. The subtitle is Perspectives on Dating the Next Time Around, but you only have to type in First Date, Next Mate. It'll pop right up. It's you can see the table of contents. In fact, I encourage you to go and look at the table of contents, and they even give you kind of a preview of the first, a couple chapters. Maybe it's actually more than I want everyone to read, but it's really packed with lots. It's a very easy read. A lot of bullet points, do's and don'ts and pros and cons. It's just very quick and easy read. So, but I tell people to read it through one time fully, front to back, and then use it as a resource. Like, what did she say about a player? Or what about that sex perspective or whatever, is to then go back and use it as a resource.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's really a great book. And it's great for people to be able to, in our age group, have something to be able to go to, read it, and be able to have a better understanding of how to date. Because dating is a little bit tricky.
And it's very different.
And
I was shocked. I was actually shocked. I thought, wow, this is so different. But yeah, it's also it also still can be a wonderful, fun, and exciting adventure, as long as you keep your mind in check. And about the coaching is I coach people over the phone, over Skype, over FaceTime. I mean, obviously, I had a client just leave. If they're here, they come to my house. But don't let that discourage any of your listeners. Like, oh gosh, that'd be kind of cool to have a dating consultant. A lot of people hire me for 3 sessions and they're done. Some hire me, for a year. So it is kind of cool to process that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you can get your services on loveandlaughterlifecoaching.com. So we can reach you there. Well, listen, we're going to have to wrap up the show. It's been it goes by very quickly, and it's a lot of information, but a lot of fun stuff. I think that we have to approach dating with an open mind, open heart, and just have fun. Don't you think?
I do. Absolutely. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's so great to have you. Well, we are talking with Elizabeth Lewis, and this is Cece with Going Solo. You are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I hope you will join us each and every week, and we have these great authors and with their wonderful books. Make sure you run right out now and you get it on Amazon. It is called First Date, Next Mate, and we want to make sure that you get that. So Elizabeth Lewis, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye for now.